When you travel to a distant country today, you probably expect some culture shock. Yet, you know you can always communicate through modern technology. You pack your bags, navigate international airports, and blend into diverse global cities with ease. Now, imagine arriving on an island in the 16th century where no one has ever seen anyone who looks like you. There are no translation apps, no foreign embassies, and no familiar customs to guide you. For most travelers, such profound isolation would feel overwhelming. However, one man turned this extreme cultural barrier into an extraordinary destiny. His original African name remains lost to history. Nevertheless, the world remembers him as Yasuke. Arriving in feudal Japan as an enslaved attendant to European missionaries, he possessed remarkable physical strength, towering over local crowds. Within months, his presence would captivate the most ruthless warlord in the land, transforming him from a captive servant into an honored samurai warrior. In 1579, a Portuguese Jesuit missionary named Alessandro Valignano arrived in Japan to inspect Christian missions across the country. Accompanying his traveling entourage was a tall African man of striking appearance. 16th century Japan was completely closed to the broader outside world. Consequently, the arrival of foreign visitors always attracted intense curiosity. When the missionary expedition reached the capital city of Kyoto in 1581, news of the African giant spread rapidly through the markets. Thousands of citizens flooded the narrow streets, crushing against wooden fences just to catch a brief glimpse of him, creating a chaotic riot in the city center. The local inhabitants had never witnessed dark skin before. In fact, many believed he was a divine guardian from ancient Buddhist legends. The sudden commotion quickly caught the attention of Japan's supreme military leader, Oda Nobunaga, who immediately demanded that this mysterious stranger be brought to his palace. Oda Nobunaga was a fierce visionary attempting to unify a fractured, war-torn Japan under his iron rule. When Yasuke was ushered into the grand audience hall, Nobunaga was initially skeptical, suspecting that the man's dark skin was merely black ink painted over his body. Nobunaga ordered his servants to strip the visitor to the waist and scrub his skin with water. However, the pigment remained unchanged. Astonished by this revelation, the warlord realized he was standing before a genuinely unique individual. Nobunaga engaged the traveler in conversation, discovering that he was intelligent, quick to learn Japanese, and remarkably composed under pressure. Standing over 6 feet tall in a society where average warriors were much shorter, Yasuke possessed a formidable physique and the strength of 10 men. Instead of dismissing him as a foreign curiosity, Nobunaga recognized valuable potential, deciding to take the African into his personal service immediately. Entering Nobunaga's court completely altered the course of Yasuke's life. In feudal Japanese society, social status was rigid. Nevertheless, Nobunaga was famous for rewarding talent and loyalty over noble birth. The warlord bestowed upon him the Japanese name Yasuke, granting him a private residence, a regular stipend, and ceremonial robes. Most remarkably, Nobunaga presented Yasuke with a pair of traditional swords, formally raising him to the prestigious rank of samurai. Yasuke became one of the warlord's most trusted bodyguards, riding alongside him during military inspections and dining at his private table. European visitors were astonished to see a former enslaved attendant treated with such immense dignity. For the first time in his life, Yasuke was not viewed as property. Instead, he was respected as an elite warrior in the most powerful court in Japan. In June 1582, Nobunaga paused at the Honno-ji temple in Kyoto with only a small personal guard, including Yasuke. Without warning, one of Nobunaga's trusted generals, Akechi Mitsuhide, launched a sudden treasonous coup, surrounding the temple with thousands of rebel soldiers. Flames quickly engulfed the wooden compound as arrows rained down into the courtyard. Yasuke fought bravely alongside his master, defending the barricades against overwhelming enemy waves. Realizing that defeat was inevitable, Nobunaga retreated into an inner room to commit seppuku, ritual suicide, to preserve his warrior honor. After his master's death, Yasuke managed to cut his way through the enemy encirclement, rushing to join Nobunaga's son, Nobutada, at the nearby Nijo castle. Yasuke continued to battle relentlessly until the young heir was also defeated, leaving the solitary samurai surrounded by enemy forces. Following the battle, the rebel general Mitsuhide spared Yasuke's life, viewing him as a foreigner rather than a true political threat, subsequently ordering him returned to the Jesuit mission in Kyoto. After that fateful summer of 1582, historical records regarding Yasuke fade into silence, leaving his final years shrouded in mystery. Although his time as a samurai was brief, his historical impact remains profound. In a rigid era defined by isolation and conflict, a displaced African captive rose to the highest military circle of feudal Japan through courage, intelligence, and adaptability. Yasuke's story shattered historical boundaries, demonstrating that honor and greatness are not defined by where your journey begins, but by how bravely you rise when destiny calls.